Let's go back to the year 2008. It was a great year. It was the year I graduated high school, and times were just so much simpler. Smartphones weren't really a thing yet. Social media was barely a thing. Even YouTube hardly existed. But there was also something new in the ATV world. And that was the first 1000cc ATV. Made by Thundercat. So this was the Thundercat 1000. So yeah, they were the first ones to create a 1000cc ATV. I don't know if there was really a demand for it or not, or if they even really sold well, but this was the first year they existed. So kind of story on this one, actually I traded it in. The guy blew up the front diff on it. Here's the front diff that came out of it. I guess the story I got is he was pushing snow and was tired of pushing snow and was just getting too aggressive with it, and it, yeah, just destroyed this front diff, put a big hole in it. So yeah, that was what we needed to replace on this. We ended up replacing a few U-joints and stuff on it too. But yeah, so let's walk through this thing a little bit, kind of explain what the first 1000cc ATV looked like. So at the time, the main competition would have been an 800 Sportsman as well as the 800 Can-Am. Horsepower wise, the 800 Sportsmans were probably around the 50, maybe 55 horsepower range. I think the first generation 800 Outlanders were probably in the low 60s, I think like 61, 62, something like that. And this guy, this 1000 Arctic Cat, I believe these are rated at a little over like 70 horsepower or so. So at the time, it was pretty crazy. So yeah, this is a twin cylinder, V-twin. We'll pull the side covers off here, see the motor. So essentially what we got going on here is basically two 550 cylinders and stuff from the 550 Arctic Cats sandwiched together to make a big old V-twin. So these are fuel injected. They did not come with power steering, so that was not an option on them yet. That's definitely something that would have been handy. They turn a little hard for what they are. Power-wise though, it's got probably too much power for these chassis. The Arctic Cats have never felt like we're really, you know, that agile of machines. They kind of sit a little taller. They feel like they've got a little taller center of gravity and stuff, and especially with this one having this much power, it's kind of a handful. I always found it kind of weird too that they really didn't come with anything crazy for tires on it. Basically, they came with these kind of hole shot style, kind of more, you know, sport quad style tires. So like nothing for tread. So these things, I feel like you do more spinning than anything else on it. But yeah, this one's only got, I think, 1,400 miles on it. So I've got the new front diff replaced, and then yeah, replaced U-joints on this one, so I had to replace the, I'll get from the other side. Had to replace U-joints going up to the front diff, as well as the U-joints in the rear there. We're also bad, making all sorts of noise. But we've got this thing back together now. So let's go take it for a spin and kind of see what this thing's like. All right, let's go for a little ride on this thing. More spinning than anything else, especially with these tires. Right now the grass is kind of frosty. We're spinning pretty easy on it. The power is pretty good with it though. Woo. It's a little cold out. See, there's my march from before. Spinning. We'll put it back in 4-wheel drive here. So yeah, no power steering on these. I mean, it doesn't turn bad or anything, but the later ones with power steering were definitely a lot nicer. This thing, the guy added these extra little foot pegs here, which they're all loose. They're making all sorts of noise and stuff. All right, 4-wheel drive, we'll just launch it and see what we get up to for speed this half block or so here. Ready, set, go. Woo. Oh, speedometer is showing 50. I think top speed on these are probably governed, probably around like 70-ish or something. Maybe we'll go down the road quick and see what we get for speed. Ready, set, go. Spinning the tires on the spit when I took off there. Yeah, I think top speed on this thing would easily do 70, maybe 80 or something. But then I hit 60 there, and it was definitely not done climbing. I need some gloves though. My hands are freezing. So yeah, that's the 2008 Thundercat 1000. Like I said, power on it. It's great. I mean, it feels more than enough power. I mean, back in the day, I'm sure this thing just kind of blew the doors off on everything else that was available. And I'm sure if you owned one of these things new, you were not disappointed in it power-wise and stuff. I mean, does it compare to the thousands of today? Probably not. I think the 1000 Sportsmans or 1000 Can-Ams definitely got it beat and everything, especially for the ride quality. But for 2008, it was quite the machine. I definitely kind of missed, you know, when these other brands had more of a competition between them too, and you saw them kind of push the envelope with design and everything, and kind of sad to see stuff like this go, especially with Arctic Cat. I think they're kind of maybe sort of on their way out business-wise. I think, you know, when it comes to the ATV production and stuff, I've heard recently they've kind of limited design and engineering and stuff and cut a lot of people from the manufacturing side, but we'll see if what kind of continues with this company or not. Overall though, I just kind of felt like this was kind of a cool machine to show off. People don't see them too often, this 1000 Arctic Cats and stuff, especially kind of the first year design. I like these decals and everything. They're very aggressive, and which matches the machine for sure. I like the color scheme, the silver with the green, and overall, I think they made a decent ATV. I mean, I'd go through a lot of Arctic Cats. I think in general, people kind of have, you know, not the most positive opinion of this brand, but in my opinion, they're not that drastically different than some of the others. It all kind of comes down to how you use stuff and how you take care of things, in my opinion. Alrighty, well, let's stay tuned for the next video, and please follow and subscribe.